So a very good morning to one and all, and welcome to edCafe. This is your host Mansi Yadav from edCafe, and today we have a very special guest with us. Let me give you a glimpse of his journey. So he is an innovator and an entrepreneur with almost 20 years of experience. Also a motivator and a communicator. Adding a spark on his journey, he is also an author and a social media influencer. So today we have Mr. Jitesh Khanna. Welcome, sir. Welcome to edCafe. And please tell our audiences about you, your journey.
So thank you so much for such a long introduction. And I have been into business for last almost 20 years now. And for last 15 years, I've been into social work.
Okay.
Apart from just being an entrepreneur, I have also tried my best to be multifaceted. I write, I paint, I am part of multiple organizations, I speak, I am a speaker with a lot of organizations. But I think my most favorite thing that I do is that the work I do with the youth, which happens to be one of my favorite things. Like I was telling you earlier also, we are one of the youngest nations in the world.
Exactly.
And it gives me so much pride and joy to see our youth. Though they are learning, but there's so much of sincerity in them, there's so much of hunger in them. So when you're with them, it's like my own life glows. I get to learn so much from them. You know, teaching is like, when you teach something, you learn twice. So every time I'm with youth, I'm trying to teach something to them, I'm doing a session with them. It's so much that I take back. And I feel very proud of my youth, and I'm so looking forward to our youth becoming the leaders of the future.
Leaders of the future. So that is basically the young blood beauty, if we can say, when we talk about the youth.
Yeah.
So I have this question in my mind, like, what made you bring in the education sector, like in the education industry?
So it was by accident, because of some people I was working with who were in edtech or education industry, that I got into education. And once I got here, I realized that there is a huge vacuum in education industry. There is this organized education industry, but there's a lot of vacuum which is there, which needs to be filled, and a lot of things that needs to be taught to youth.
Yeah.
So though we teach a lot of stuff in schools, we don't teach things about how to live our life, how to probably be happy.
Yeah.
Lately we have had happiness courses and stuff like that. There's a lot of mental health issues that are there with children, which are not addressed properly nowadays. Nowadays we have counseling sessions and all, but lately things are getting better and things are going there. So once I got into education, I realized there's so much that I can do. There's so much that I can add on to, so much value that I can add on to education industry, and that's how slowly and gradually I got into education industry.
Okay, that's beautiful. Like by accident, but then now, of course.
Yeah. I think there are no accidents in life.
Yeah,
things
exactly.
are meant to happen.
So my next question would be like, what role do you see for the educational technology in supporting the implementation of NEP when we talk about? As we know, the NEP has been the hot topic of CBSE.
Yeah. So first and foremost, my congratulations for the new NEP. I think it's very, very wonderful, very wholesome.
Yeah.
So if you look back a few months back, or a year back, or 2 years back, when we were all in lockdown, the only thing that helped us out was technology.
Exactly.
Thanks to the online sessions that we had, the Zoom classes, Teams and all that, all the different softwares that we used, we were able to reach out to these children who were stuck in their houses, and they were able to study. And I won't say that it was as good as physical education, coming to school, because you don't come to school only to learn, you learn people skills, you learn other stuff.
Exactly.
But it was a great help. And I would say that that is the first time probably in history we realized that technology can become a great source of imparting education. And nowadays, I still see a lot of people, instead of doing physical meetings, doing those Zoom meetings and other meetings, so that to save time and to have a very crisp and clear meeting, So for NEP, I feel technology can be a great booster provided the two things that I really want to talk about is, one, we need to develop our own internal softwares, Indian softwares. Softwares that cater to a market which are our own intellectual property. And two, these softwares should be very, very cheap and freely available to the farthest region of India, so that anybody, a child living in a remote area, can also have an access to this kind of technology. So I'm really looking forward to it, and I really hope a lot of new edtech companies come with such softwares, and the government is supporting them. As long as the right product is there.
But the only thing is the costing part when we talk about
exactly. That's where things go a bit and I think in that the government can provide a lot of subsidies, a lot of tax ops, and if that happens, it is going to be in sync with the government. If that happens, I really feel that India will become like the next epicenter of technology for education.
Exactly. It is going to be a boom, but it will of course take time. Because metro cities, to adapt things in the metro cities, it's easy, but then when we talk about
but in tier 2, tier 3 town, it's easier, but going to the remotest places, I think that's the challenge.
That's the challenge. So that was nice. My next question would be around that similar thing. So what are the ethical and privacy concerns related to the use of technology when we talk about in the education, and what do you think that how can these be addressed?
I think that's a very pressing question, and I have been thinking about it a lot. I have had a discussion with a lot of people, tech people. Currently, there is a lot of ways that technology can go wrong in terms of our privacy, in terms of the content we put, in terms of bullying, in terms of children getting access to a lot of things they shouldn't be getting access to. So I think because the technology is very nascent, we have these teething troubles. But as in time, I think the more the technology will evolve, the more I think we would have a better, I would say, we would find better ways to restrict children's access to such things and the chances of accidents being happened. In fact, there were a lot of memes and jokes going around where people would have their cameras on and they would be exercising and in the middle of a meeting or eating food and so on and so forth. So technology is like a double-edged sword, you know, it has its uses, but it can also cut in wrong ways. So I think this is something that in time, as the technology would evolve, would get better and better.
As you said, that it is like a blessing, also a curse. Technology is both, if you talk about.
It depends. Technology is actually neutral. It is how we use it. That's the thing.
It's the way we take it. Like if it is a blessing for us.
If you give a knife to a monkey, the monkey would definitely cut a person. So you need to understand how developed a person is to use the technology. In a mature hand, the technology would become a tool, but in an immature hand, it might just turn into sort of a weapon also.
My next question would be that what steps can be taken to ensure that the use of technology in the education when we talk about is effective and sustainable enough for the future sense?
So I before addressing this question, I would come to another pressing issue that has opened up, is that a lot of parents and people have come to me and they have shared this concern that due to the excessive use of technology, children are hooked to it. Now please understand, social media, the likes that you get, the kind of feedback that you get also gives you a certain high, and then you get used to that kind of a high, and it becomes addictive. So I feel the efficient use of technology is a very secondary thing. The primary is that we need to understand that we need to also limit the use of technology. And when I say limit to you, I'm talking about screens. You cannot eliminate screens. Now screens are there forever.
Everywhere.
I see children who are as young as 1 or 2 year old playing with a phone or an iPad or some sort of a device, and which is okay for learning. But I've seen children getting so addicted to technology that instead of going out and playing with their friends, they prefer to be there, which in turn is not letting them exercise, not letting them develop people skills,
physical activity.
So I think that is one need that needs to be, that is one thing that needs to be addressed. Parents need to have these timings for use of technology, and timings to study and timings to go out and play with friends or mingle with people. The second part of this question is, how can we make it more sustainable? One, by making technology cheaper. 2, by making technology more child friendly. 3, by again I'm coming back to the same point that I was talking about. We produce one of the largest amount of software developers in the world. If you go and see, most of the tech companies have CEOs who are Indians.
Indians, yeah.
Most of the softwares, when you read their developers, people, the teams, you will see a lot of Indians there. But that entire technology is being imported abroad. How can we in India develop these companies, these new age technologies? And I think technology is one sphere where you don't have to go back and invent the wheel. You can from this moment start developing these small companies in India and turn India into a technology hub. They will be more sustainable when they'll be more cheaper. They will evolve faster, and they will evolve according to the psychology of Indian people. Indian people have a very different psychology or different way of looking at things from the West.
Yeah.
Most of the things that we use here come from the West and then are tweaked. Like, so if we get a car that comes from Europe, the suspension is tweaked according to Indian's road. The fuel is, the intake of fuel is tweaked according to the quality of fuel we have. In the same way, technology is tweaked. Why don't we develop India-specific technology?
Exactly.
You know, we have such amazing children here, but our children have a very different mindset. Very different. Our parents have a very different mindset.
Because, and it's not just our fault, to be very honest. It's like the upbringing we have been coming through, like the mindset we have been given since our childhood. Like, nahi, you have to do this. Nahi, you can't just take your, like, aap risk nahi le sakte, don't do this, just do this.
But there are also two sides of this coin. One, we are very lucky to have this mindset.
Yeah.
Because Indians have a mindset to save money. Indians have a mindset to take care of parents, which is so lovely. Indians have a mindset to think 20-30 years down the future, so they tell their children, pad lo yaar, aage ye karna hai. But also the other side of the coin is that we sometimes pressurize our kids too
Exactly.
much. That is where we go wrong. And I think we need to really realize that our children are basically very unique. So one child might be very bad at studies, but he might be amazing at social media. Now, I can't expect A.R. Rahman to be a great accountant. He's an amazing musician.
Exactly.
I mean, there's nobody like him. So imagine if A.R. Rahman was told to leave music, you know, at a young age and focus on accounts. I don't think we would have had this maestro in front of us.
Exactly.
So we need to, as parents, as a society whole, and why do you think I go out and speak, and a lot of people like me go out and speak, is because we need to make people aware of the fact that your children might not be extremely talented like other people in terms of education,
maybe books, like,
or maybe not be great musician or not be great sports person, but there might be something amazing in them.
Some or the other spark each and every person has.
So that spark has to turn into this great wildfire. That is very important. That's what we need to teach the parents now.
Exactly. So that was beautiful. Like, even I'll just take one of your words. I'll tell you later on. It inspired me a lot, actually.
I'm glad.
So my next question would be around these students, of course. Talking about the financial literacy, like, what do you feel like, is it important for us to understand this concept that it is important for the parents and for the teachers or maybe the school's organization to conduct some kind of a lesson classes for these students to understand the financial literacy from the early age of their life?
So this actually happens to be a question that has to be asked again and again at different platforms, and I talk about this very often. Lately, I met a lot of youngsters who were excellent at studies and got great jobs, amazing packages. But when I asked them, what are you doing with the money? They didn't know where to invest the money. In fact, a lot of very learned kids I met didn't even know where to put their money in equity, how much money should be there in debt, how much money should be there in, say, some sort of an asset, how much money should be put in sort of a SIP. And then I realized they have no idea about the concept of systematic investment. They had no concept of putting their money in different asset classes. And I realized this something is majorly wrong. And then when I went back and I realized our education system imparts education, telling them that पढ़ लोगे तो नौकरी मिल जाएगी and then you will make money, but rather than teaching them from day one how to utilize money, how to monetize things.
Exactly.
I know a lot of people who have great skill sets in India, but they don't know how to monetize it. They don't know the ways and means that where can they go, which agency can they approach to, what medium they can use, and hence monetize this. Now imagine you have talent and you can't monetize it.
Exactly.
Yeah, that is talent going waste.
That would be the
And I'm not saying money is everything, but Having said that, money is extremely essential. Just like technology, money is neutral. You use it whichever way you want to use it, positively or negatively. But the lack of money creates more problem. So that is why it is very important for our children to have financial literacy. From a very young age, they should know how to monetize things. They should know how to invest. They should know, if I have a certain amount of money, even if small amount of money, how can I multiply that money? How can I put that money into the right places, right boxes? Like they say in the old saying is that don't put all your eggs in one basket. It's a very, very right saying. You know, you need to have a very wholesome portfolio where you might have a little bit of, like for an older person, he might have a little bit of gold, say 10 to 15% of gold in the house. You have some money in FDs, then some money in mutual fund, properties, SIPs. And then if any one asset class fails or doesn't perform, the other asset class might outperform. So that's a great way of hedging things. So that's what something that I've realized a lot of older people don't even know. And we had this whole thing about putting our money in FDs and all, where the interest rates are going down. And internationally, India would reach a place where the interest rate would be very low. So you can't live on interest all the time. You need to learn to invest. The jobs seen are contracting. There'll be lesser and lesser jobs. ChatGPT, softwares like that, people are really scared of ChatGPT. A lot of people are saying, oh my God, it's disruptive. It's just a very, it's like a child. Imagine what it will become in next 10 years.
People have this mindset कि अरे यार ChatGPT आ गया अब तो नौकरी खाएगा. But it is not like that. No system can.
It is yes and a no. It is yes and a no. Technology would come and take a lot of jobs. And it has happened in the past also.
Yeah, it has. But then you cannot just say कि आप कि हर तरीके से technology.
Yeah, but new avenues would open up also.
Yeah, exactly. Because ठीक है, even if अगर technology के through jobs जा रही हैं, but there are some new ways कि people can just work over there.
I was in Tokyo and I went for shopping to the store, and I was looking for a sales, the counter, the cash counter, where I would go and pay or give my credit card. And I realized there's none. There was this machine, you put your clothes inside, it shows you the bill, you put in your card, the bill comes out, you take it and put it in a bag and take it away. And I saw the same thing happening everywhere. There are vending machines everywhere. In Japan, there are cafes where you go, there's no person. You can choose the stuff, pay, it comes out and you eat.
You can eat.
And I realized it is happening there because Japan has very low rate of youth. It is a very high aging population. India doesn't have that challenge. So more and more technology needs to be developed to give jobs to people. So financial education is one challenge, and the other challenge is unemployment in our country. And in all that, technology can help. As the moment we become a prime creator of technology, especially education technology.
Nice, that was good. So my last question, but not the least, of course, my last question would be that talking about the online transactions, like we know we all use like Paytm, Google Play, and like Google Pay and everything. Like COVID के बाद से तो it has been a mandate. Because we were so afraid कि भाई नोट नहीं छू सकते, so
safest way to exchange money.
आधे से ज़्यादा लोगों ने तो I guess मजबूरी में शुरू किया था, but now they are into it. Like they're like नहीं भाई अगर पैसे इधर उधर चले गए तो they were so scared कि कुछ cloning हो गई या कुछ भी हो गया, but now they are like, who is going to carry cash with yourself? You just have UPI and everything like that. But still, somewhere or the other side, when we talk about the education sector and when we talk about paying fee, parents are still scared of, or they still have a fear of, you know, doing online transaction because they feel कि amount ज़्यादा होता है, of course, जो भी student के fee का होता है, and they believe कि नहीं यार cash ही दे दो या check ही दे दो school में जाके, they are more satisfied enough in that, but they don't understand कि online में you can pay it from anywhere at any time. You have these notifications when you get कि भाई आपने fee pay नहीं किया, आप कर लो, and you just click over there, 3 clicks and your payment is done. But still they have a fear of, you know, nahi hum nahi karenge. So what do you have to say about this?
So we are very lucky. We're in an age where India, thanks to the government, the policies, instantly got into UPI transaction, online transaction, and I think it's one of the best systems in the world we have here. More adapted than, you know, you go to a sabji wala, you would see a barcode, you know, where you can pay, which is so amazing, which is something that I could have not thought even 5 years back. At the same time, people have understood how convenient it is to pay online.
Exactly.
You know, there's no hassle of change, there's no hassle of carrying cash, you're not scared of carrying anything, just a card, and that card is also encrypted and you have your OTPs and stuff. But what is happening is that a lot of people are still gullible. A lot of times you get these fraud messages that your electricity bill is there, and then they click on it. So this awareness now these companies are giving. All big companies are sending messages to people that don't click.
Yeah.
But I feel now parents have lately started getting very comfortable with online payments. And the ease of sitting at home and paying for your children.
Yeah.
That is definitely happening. I think the only thing that we need to be really clear about is that we have to go to the legitimate sites. We have to check the legitimate links so that we don't click on some sort of a link which is sort of a hacker's link or something like that, and our money goes away. I feel within a few months or few years, maybe 2-3 years, you will see majority of payments. I would say 99% of payments would be, for school payments, would be coming online. I think that people are getting very used to the technology. The government is creating a lot of awareness in terms of spamming and all those things.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have lost money recently, but a lot of awareness because of that is also coming.
Exactly.
So I don't see this. I see India becoming a major online transaction hub.
Yeah, it is going to be.
And I feel probably 10 years down the line, everything would just be
on phone.
There'll be no physical money.
On your phone. It would be on your phone.
So in fact, people won't be carrying. This would happen just few years also. It is already happening in the West, but not in India and on a large scale. But if you see Apple and Android, they have these features where you can save your credit cards on the phone, and just through the phone you can pay. Yeah. So this would happen, and maybe in future you might wear a ring or some sort of a technology, a wearable technology where you can just pay, and that would be highly encrypted, very safe. You know, those things would definitely happen. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, so that was a lot of information and a lot of conversation that we had, and that was very beautiful. Thank you so much for being a part of edCafe. So thank you for being the part of this interview session. I would like you to sign this mug as the signature concept of ours.
Sure.
I won't say the name, but I will say this is the signature concept of ours.
Right. Thank you so much.
Here too.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for making me a part of this.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you all for being the part of this interview session. We'll meet in the next video with next person. Thank you so much.
Thank you.